This is All Hitches, the Nova Football Podcast.
Yo, tune in, lock in, it's the All Hitches show. Dash and Dan on the mic, let the Nova tales flow. From the booth to the field, we hitch up the truth. All Hitches podcast, drop the beat, here's the proof. Dash and Dan in the cut, bringing heat to the game.
All right, welcome to All Hitches, Nova's #1 football podcast. Coach Mesa, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm trying to stay warm.
I mean, it's I touch the glass over there on your exterior, man. It's freaking freezing.
Yeah, I before this all started, we went to the grocery store, not do heavy shopping, but because we need butter, and it was one of the first times I ever walked outside, and I didn't have gloves on, and my hands hurt, like it was so cold.
Now I put some tarps down, and we'll see the snow can catch it, and I'm gonna pull the tarps off, and they're really big tarps.
Okay. Hopefully it's not too heavy, right?
I don't know. We'll see if it works. I saw a funny clip. It was like all guys out there in the snow this morning, and it was a clip from Rocky IV. It was Stallone training to Hearts on Fire.
Wait, I thought when he was in snow, it was not Hearts on Fire. It was that instrumental. Or am I wrong?
You're right. It's the instrumental. You're right. Hearts on Fire. Well, he's doing it all. Hearts on Fire is doing everything. The instrumental is out just running across the mountain.
It is running across the mountain.
But Hearts on Fire is the whole kit and caboodle.
Hearts on Fire
doing this thing, and Drago's doing his version.
Yeah, Hearts on Fire is the one where he's in the barn, right?
He's in the barn doing mostly muscle, a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah,
a lot of the heavy lifting.
Utah, right? It filmed in Utah.
I thought it was Minnesota.
Now you're gonna make me look that up to see where.
Probably filmed in multiple places. It was not filmed in Russia.
It was not.
Looked like Siberia though, didn't it? Jeez, wherever it was. But there was mountains. Is there mountains in Minnesota?
We are both wrong.
Canada.
Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
And
then
mountains.
And the Russia scenes actually were in BC, Canada.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. Good stuff.
Jackson Hole.
I've heard good things about Jackson Hole.
I mean, it looks amazing, right? I mean,
yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's expensive. They say it's really expensive.
Yeah.
I'm not a skier.
No.
I was talking to someone about that recently. Someone was asking me, "Do you ski?" I was like, "Look, here's the deal, folks."
Not a snowboarder. I'd take you for a snowboarder. Our generation started snowboard a lot.
I grew up in Northern Virginia, all that stuff, but it's like, it's when it comes to things like skiing.
Yeah,
that's when it's like, man, I had parents who weren't born here. They were freaking skiing. Come on. Hey, my mom was born in Cuba.
No, they're not avid skiers.
Not skiing. I'm not saying that you can't become that.
Yeah.
It's just they didn't do it, and they didn't take us skiing as kids. So therefore, I think it was Samuel Jackson, wasn't it? It was my girlfriend's a vegetarian, therefore I am a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Well, therefore I didn't become a skier either.
Let me ask you, best sledding spot in Northern Virginia.
So it's a good question. I know locally where we used to go and growing up in Mantua, there's a couple good hills back there, but the best spots in Northern Virginia, that's a great question.
Oh, okay. Well,
what? We're open to that. Let people write some comments in there.
Yeah.
Where's the best spot to go sledding?
Okay.
I'd like to know the definitive answer to that.
Yeah. Are there any parks around that have really good hills around here?
I mean, it probably.
Okay.
Again,
you have young kids. I'd imagine they.
Yeah, and it was always neighborhood, right? Like,
okay.
When it gets that bad, I would avoid driving. Okay, where's the best hill nearby we can walk to?
Oh, okay.
And in those hills that I'm walking to are not the best. They're not. They're kind of lame. They're like middle tier, but they're easy. They're convenient for me to walk to with the kids.
You're not putting on that new polymer made by the by good old Clark W. Griswold?
On the metal disc.
Yeah.
No, they banned that. Don't try it at home, kids. He is professional. How about all these jobs, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where like, okay, what job's gonna pop open? Maybe this one, that one, and we've had a flood of them.
A lot. I mean, you
Yeah,
look at the ones that we've been talking about for a few weeks now, and even then, it's like, man, it's taking forever to fill these jobs.
yeah.
I mean, the Robinson job, we're not going to get into that. We know what's going on there, and the whole world knows what's going on there. We won't talk about it.
Do we know? Nobody really knows.
Well, no one really knows, but people have, was it loose lips sink ships or whatever the old saying is? Yeah, people talk. So we think we know what's happening there, but we'll see when that gets decided at Robinson. Um, Oakton, I think, is imminent, but this weather's going to kind of slow that process down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and then we got Herndon, which was new. You and I did not know about. Last time we did a show, Herndon was not one of the jobs,
Mm.
and that's a bummer because a guy we were high on, and Coach Richards now gone on the free agent market. He's getting blown up now, probably for jobs.
Sure is. So someone's gonna get a quality coach for
Right,
sure.
the way people were, probably blowing up Slay when
Yeah.
he left Oakton. Hayfield,
Hayfield.
another relatively, I think, new one that popped up a couple weeks ago.
Another first year coach, two first year coaches.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Which you and I say is a sleeper job at Hayfield.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Wakefield, another new one that popped up with Coach Martin. I think I read it going into the athletic office. So that job opens up, and that could be a sleeper job too.
Yeah, 100%.
And then Freedom out west.
Freedom. But that's been open for a while though.
I mean, a little bit, yeah.
I think we've talked about it before.
Really? So Freedom, yeah. And then a couple jobs filled.
Yeah, we have a couple hires. Yeah.
So we got Osborne, which it was Coach Morgan kind of was the interim coach last year.
Yeah.
And Coach Michael Copeland gets the job.
He was a coach on staff. Looks
I think
like
he was
I don't know if he's in the
OC
building.
or assistant head coach. I read.
So I'm not sure.
That's what I read.
Yeah.
And of course, and PW Facebook pages never lie. But I did read that.
Yeah.
And congratulations to him. That's awesome.
Yeah. We'd love to get in contact with us. We'd love to talk to you and kind of hear your story and talk about what you think about what's going to happen after a really good year at Osborne.
A really good year. I agree with you. And then TJ, a historic day in Nova, my friend.
Yeah. Might be in Virginia. Might be
Rachel
in Virginia.
Worsham.
Yeah.
Rachel Worsham, the first female head coach in Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia. Maybe in Virginia. We don't know, right?
We don't. You're right. We don't know. Could be.
Could be the first one. Could be the first one, the DMV.
One of the first. I thought I read there was a female coach at DC a couple of years ago. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
My memory's bad. Maybe, but she's among the first.
Yeah.
In the entire area.
The first for sure in Northern Virginia.
In Nova for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So congratulations to Rachel. And I know she was at Robinson. She was at Marshall.
Braddock?
No, not at Braddock. Marshall and Robo for sure. And then she was coaching girls flag last year. And then you coached against her, probably, didn't you?
I did. We did coach against her. They did really well. They played really well.
All right. See, look at that. So busy. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 openings right now in Northern Virginia. That's a lot of busy athletic offices, my friend.
A lot of DSAs, a lot of interviewing.
That's a lot of interviews. That's a lot of callbacks.
A lot of callback, yeah.
A lot of non-callbacks.
Yeah.
A lot of emails saying thanks. Thank you for your service.
Always wonder, who they're going to fill their staffs with, right? I mean, they're going to be reaching out to this person, that person.
So many jobs are still, and people are still trying to fill out their staffs right now. And you can't even do that right now until these dominoes fall.
Right.
And you and I have been saying, what's the next domino to fall?
Right.
It's not over yet, my friend.
We've heard a few, but
it's not over yet, buddy.
Yeah.
You
always have that weird March, right? That weird March or April one that pops open.
There could be a couple from what we're hearing. Could be a couple. So, things are just getting started, man. So, awesome stuff, man. Well, speaking of coaching and great coaching, we've got, cue the music, man. If we had the Sly and the Family Stone right now, buddy, little family affair.
Family affair against a guy who we've been a big fan of, right? I mean, we both said maybe there was underrated head coach maybe in the area.
Coach Anthony Parker.
Yeah. And long as his two sons.
Right. You got Wesley and Darnell.
Darnell over there. because they had some rule here in Virginia that you couldn't have your children on the staff, which it's just bizarre to me. I mean, yeah, but I mean, and what a year, huh? Region championship.
Oh man, historic, as we're going to get into in the interview.
Yeah.
Just a historic season for West Springfield.
Yeah. And we're really going to learn their story, and it's going to be really interesting. And I'm sure a lot of things people didn't know about them. I mean, we learned some things.
Yeah. So, I think people are going to enjoy this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So kick back, take a break from this crappy weather. Hey, maybe a hot bowl of soup.
Hot bowl of soup.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe a grilled cheese sandwich and some tomato soup, and hit play, sit back, put your feet up, relax. All right, enjoy this one. West Springfield, family affair. Coach Anthony Parker, Coach Darnell Parker, Coach Wesley Parker. Enjoy. Welcome back. Here we are. We got the family affair. We got Coach Parker's. We got Coach Anthony Parker, Coach Darnell Parker, Coach Wesley Parker from West Springfield High School. Gentlemen, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me.
How you guys doing? Thank you for having us.
All right. So I found out Darnell is the older one. So I'm going to start off with a really hard-hitting question. Which one of you two is a favorite? Which one of you two is the favorite with your dad?
I'll let them answer.
Whichever one don't beat me in golf that day. That's
The question what I would ask was, are you guys the only two? Are there any other siblings?
We have a sister.
Yeah. See, I was waiting for Dad to say, "Nah, she's my favorite."
There's the favorite. Yeah.
The
favorite.
Baby girl.
The older brother, you always have to look at, because I have younger siblings, and you look at your younger brother and you're like, let me get away with that. How is he getting away with that? If I'd have done that, I'd have been in big trouble. But all of a sudden you're like, oh, he's just being a kid. You gotta be kidding me.
So when I got out of college, I was a para or IA at North Stafford, and that's how I was coaching there. My sister, she's the youngest, she was a junior. She's managing the football team. So you can only imagine, me, I'm fresh out of college and I'm big brother, and some of the things I'm seeing, and I want to go tell my dad, but I got to be the brother and be cool. And so, yeah, I'm looking at them and I'm like, you guys would have threw me out the house.
I know that exact. Mason, you remember? I mean, my coaching at Woodson, all my kids have come through there, and my son was there at the same time. My daughter was one of our managers. That was a tough time for me, and I know for my son. Like, she was manager for 2 years, and man, I tell you, I got some gray hair in those years. I got some gray hair. All right, guys, what a year! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I mean, it was fun, man. It was fun. I know it was fun. It was fun for us just covering you guys. I mean, every week, whether it was by air, by land, or by sea. You guys were just coming up with big wins throughout the season, and I didn't even know till doing our research later in the season. The 40-year thing came up, like the bet, and you guys probably know, was it 43 years?
45 years.
Best
45
season,
years.
45 years.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it was amazing for us. I mean, you think about the Division I quarterbacks that come through West Springfield, so much talent, guys that went to the NFL. And we have a bunch of guys that was just hard nosed and hardworking, and blue collar guys that just decided that they wanted to be good. And about this time last year, we had weight room at 6 a.m. and at 3, and they were going both times. And it always works well when your core guys, your guys who's really good on your team, make that commitment, because then you get your younger guys all involved, and they're just want to hang up and tag along and be a part of it. And so that was the amazing part for us. And then those guys just every week they were cardiac kids at times when it came to the South County game. They just found ways to win, and and then it also helped that we found Booby. He was just a kick returner for us at first, and he was new to us, and we had Brady Davis at running back, and he was doing really well. And he gets hurt, and we go to Booby, and then we realize that we can give somebody the ball 25 times a game.
We were always worried. It's funny because like that first game Brady played, I think Brady played one game of offense, and I think he had maybe 4 catches for like 70 yards, and then like maybe 14 carries for like 80 yards. And our biggest fear was like, he's also our best defensive player, you know? And so it's one of those things where it's like, would we have found Booby? Like, I think we would have eventually, just because of Brady's workload, but he's also a horse. So I don't know. Brady would have never shown any sign of weakness. So yeah, it's crazy how things turn out and how things play out.
Yeah, late in the season, I mean, heck, he was playing D line, D end.
Yeah, a little bit
You
of
know,
jack
right?
linebacker for us.
Chasing quarterbacks down.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you got an athlete like that, you might as well. I mean, and any which way possible, right? Use him.
Well, it's funny because we were afraid like Telfer was playing so well and Zach Norton were playing so well inside. We really didn't want to mess up their momentum. So it was like, as great as Brady is, how do we fit him into a defense that's rolling? You know, and that's kind of where, outside linebacker, he kind of shut down the one side of the field, doing that.
And I think one thing that I really liked about you guys, Mason and I, all season long, we said it, is I'm going to use the word common sense, but sometimes it's not common, right? And you guys took a common sense approach sometimes to some of your players and where to play them and where to put them, and I think sometimes people overthink things. And I mean, just like that. I mean, Mesa for years we've been harping about taking your best player and sometimes just, even if he's the running back, let him go get the quarterback. Like let him play.
Right.
He's probably stronger than and faster than half those O linemen he's going against. Put him on the D line, let him go.
Tony Rojas effect.
Right. And you guys did it. I mean, taking Bello, who's
Yeah.
going to be a quarterback for you guys, and then okay, he's not playing. You're like, look at this guy. I mean, how many in college and in pro? How many times have you seen the quarterback turn tight end? So many times, and you guys did that, and you made that work. So I just thought, just a lot of times you took guys, and you were like, well, he should be playing here. Let's just do that.
So like a little behind the curtain, what's that conversation like when you guys are deciding, to start moving guys around? When you guys talk, I mean, it's the staff, it's up through text. I mean, does it sound like there's a funny story, maybe?
So
it was a lot
Bello
of just trying to get the best players on the field. We felt like Bello should be on the field somewhere, and so we was like, he got a tight end frame. Let's see if he can block. And we didn't even think about him being able to catch the ball. We said, if he can block, that'll be great.
Yeah.
And he was just killing people on the line. And it was like, well, if he can teach him to throw it, to catch, he'll be even better. And he did it himself. I mean, he would catch 100 to 150 balls every day from the time we told him he was going to play tight end until the season ended, because he was doing it up through December. So it was kind of those things. We just like, and the same thing when it came to we played Dylan Booby at a little bit of defensive end, because like you said, we was like, he's fast. He can't be a tackle that can get back quick enough that he can't get a sack. So he started playing defensive end before he even played running back. When we played against Madison and Chantilly, he played defensive end. So just trying to get him on the field. We was like, he's a great athlete. Let's get him on the field. So we just kind of, brainstorming a little bit, like, if we had to put our best 11 guys, we would just name them, and those guys would be in that conversation, but they didn't have a position. So we just found somewhere for them to play.
That's really smart.
Yeah, I love it. All right, let's start from the beginning. So how did the coaching start? Now, obviously, Coach Parker, you got into coaching, and I was reading up on you a little bit. And North Carolina, is that right? North Carolina roots, or is that wrong?
So I'm originally from D.C., but I went to college at North Carolina A&T.
That's what I saw.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So when I did my student teaching from A&T, the guy I got hooked up with as my mentor teacher was the head football coach at Grimsley High School in Greensboro. And so he parlayed me into a job in Roxborough, North Carolina, because those two coaches was coaching each other in the All-Star game. And he's like, hey, I got a receiver coach for you. So I coached there for 3 years, and then I moved back up here and got a teaching job, but I didn't have a coaching job. So I kind of worked with my alma mater, Baloo, up in D.C. And then a job came open at T.C. Williams. I spent 3 years at T.C. Williams. Then I went to Lee. I worked for Coach Pannoni. I mean, you talking about a coaching tree? I mean, Coach Pannoni probably had 7 head coaches on that staff who became head coaches.
Wow.
Coach Taylor was on that staff. Coach Gary Wortham, who I think just took over Unity Reed, was on that staff. Was a guy named Terry B. Ham who went down and coached somewhere. I mean, it was so many of us. And we weren't very good. I think we were 0-10 that year. But we just had a lot of good guys out there. So that's kind of how I met Coach Taylor.
What year was that, Coach?
This was 99. I was
Okay.
at Lee from 99 to 2001.
Okay.
And then I got my first head coaching job at Falls Church in 2002. So you make those relationships. So one thing I knew about Coach Taylor and Coach Pannoni is they're going to teach coaches how to coach. So when my boys was ready to coach, and at that point they still couldn't coach with me, I was like, you need to go coach with Coach Taylor. And so I think that was probably the best thing that could have happened to them, and the best thing could have happened to our program, because they brought a different mindset and a different philosophy about a lot of things that we did.
Yeah, and I know you're 4 years older. But when you came out of Wise, did you right away? I know that stupid rule existed, and you couldn't coach your dad. Obviously, at that point, was it like, all right, I'm going to Fairfax? Is that, or you Stafford for a little while?
So Eldridge was still the coach at West Springfield, and Eldridge had offered me a position, but it was on freshmen. And I played my 4 years in college. I used my fifth year. I was actually an assistant coach at Wise. I was kind of halfway doing O-line, halfway doing running backs, student assistant kind of deal. And, my dad was kind of offended that it was a freshman offer. And so my coach Mangano, won 4 region championships at North Stafford. He's the offensive line coach at Colonial Forge now. His boys are Hogs, but he was the head coach and he was my head coach. So I worked with him. Very similar to Coach Taylor, attention to detail, ultra physicality. We're gonna run a few amount of plays at an insanely, efficient rate and efficient level. And so so I was there for 2 years, and then I went to Fairfax when I got that job at Herndon. I think I sat with like Herndon, maybe Hescock at South Lakes, and Coach Taylor, and just kind of went with Coach Taylor. And then saw that program kind of build up. I came in and Tony was 14 years old playing freshman basketball. And so seeing like that program from the beginning, and like you said, I think that was the best thing for me, because that tree, Pannoni, Taylor, those are workaholics. Those are workaholics, and so just kind of learned how to grind. We weren't very good that COVID year, and just kind of took everything that I could, soaked everything in, and then, kind of brought it to West Springfield. And when my brother came out, he kind of jumped on staff with us, but he can tell his story.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wes. So you graduated from Averett, and then you came towards was it Stafford or right to Fairfax?
I actually went right to Fairfax. I didn't even graduate from Averett when I started coaching. I actually did my last semester of college student teaching at Fairfax High School. So I worked closely with Coach Taylor, some of the P department there. My first year coaching was at Fairfax as well. I actually graduated college December of 2022. So after my first year coaching, it's actually a really funny story, actually, because that year we played Madison State semifinals. If we would have beat Madison, the state championship game is the same day as my college graduation, funny enough. So I was really about to skip my college graduation for this game.
Mom was a little irritated.
Very irritated about that. But yeah, started Fairfax 2022, did 2 years there, been at West Springfield ever since.
And the funny story about that was my wife was trying to get me to convince Wesley that he should go to graduation and miss the state championship, and I didn't agree. I said, "Nah, I don't think you should do that."
So you guys ended up all at West Springfield. How was it the first year coaching with your dad? I mean, because I know it's got to be a little different, right? Because while you have a professional relationship, at the end of the day, it's your sons, it's your dad. What was that like your first year? I mean, obviously you've worked some things out and built on that. But what was that like?
Yeah, refresh our memories on that. What was the first? When did they get rid of that rule again? Was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah. So it's crazy because I think people assume or just think it would be weird, but I think it partly because the offensive coordinator, Coach Bada, he played for my dad in 2002. He came on staff in 2007. So I've known him since I was 7 years old. Coach Proctor came on staff in 2008. I've known him since I was 13 years old. So, while you guys like the whole family dynamic, it's not just us, it's truly the entire staff. We've got guys on staff that played for me at North Stafford and played with my brother, and so that's kind of the culture that it is. And it's not weird at all. I think the maybe the first few weeks I kept saying dad, and someone made a joke and said, I gotta ask my dad, and then I immediately stopped doing that and started calling him Coach Parker. But yeah, I mean, he trusts us, I think, and I think that's really the biggest thing. He trusts me with the skill guys, and he trusts my brother with the O line, and that's kind of his philosophy, and as a whole, not just with us. He always says that if the offensive coordinator isn't there, every person on the offensive staff should be able to call the game because this is what our base is, this is what we do, this is what we're good at. And I trust you guys that you guys know what you're doing.
Wes?
It's definitely it was interesting at first, as my brother said, that's still our father. So you try to keep that personal relationship and professional relationship apart. Like my brother said, I kept calling him dad. I still struggle with that on occasion. I still call him dad instead of Coach Parker, trying to get over it. But it's been a great experience. I know I've learned a lot from my dad and from my brother. It's been like a dream come true, and it's been the best years of my life so far.
And Coach Parker, the older Coach Parker, do you see yourself a little bit in them? Like can you see their like the way like your approach to the game and how you coach? Like, do you look at them, you're like, yep, those are my kids right there.
I'm gonna be honest; those guys are smarter than I am. I'm still old school and doing things the old way, and they're constantly going on my computer and fixing something for me and say, "Hey, this is how you go to the Google Drive and do this." So, I have that with them. But those guys have been with me, since I started coaching. When I was at Lee in '99, I think Darnell maybe 4. He was coming to practice. And Wesley was a newborn. So, I would take Wesley to the babysitter and then Darnell was coming to practice. And then all the way up through my Falls Church years until they actually started playing high school football, they were at every practice. Actually, they even practiced. I probably shouldn't say this because Fairfax County might fire me, but they used to practice. Darnell was a 7th grader. He would put on pads with the freshmen and get out there and hit with them. And then, he was a big 7th grader. Let me say that first. I mean, he was probably 5'9" and 205 pounds as a 7th grader. And then when I got to Edison, Wesley did the same thing. Wesley would put on pads and, they were getting in shape for their youth team, but at the same time, they would get out and run routes and stuff like that. Darnell had been going to 7-on-7. I think he might have been 7th grade or 8th grade. He knew our plays way back then. And, he would come to the game like, nah, Dad, are you going to run Dakota? And I was like, no, we're not running Dakota. I mean, he knew our play. He knew what we were doing. So for me, once I knew they wanted to coach, my goal and my hope was that we got a chance to coach together. I didn't know if we would have to, leave the county or if Darnell had to take a job in Prince William and I go get on his staff or something. But, that was always the goal, just one day work together. So it's definitely been, like Wes said, a dream come true. It's for the first time my wife can come to one game, versus trying to go see Darnell play or go see Wes play, go see me play. We can all, my sister, their sister, my daughter, my sister-in-law, we had my nephew on the team this year. It was just like a real family affair where everybody could be awesome at one site.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I feel you. Two things. One, we had Scott Turner on the show. And the one thing he met, I'm a Raider fan, so I recall, and I asked him about it. I had to ask him about it. It was the coolest visual when Norv came back for half a season, and him and Norv were calling plays together in the box up there, and you could just tell. Right. And he said they had been on staff together, but one had been up, one had been down on the field.
Right.
They had never been. So I was like, that was the only time, right? He's like, yeah, that was the only time. He's like, that was one of the greatest moments of my life.
Yeah.
And so I haven't coached football with my son. I coached youth football with my older son. We coached my younger son, and when he was really young, it's a big age difference there. But look, my older son coaches lacrosse at Woodson, and I don't know what I'm doing, but for that reason, I go out there and help. I go out there. I go out there. I'm one of the game day coaches, and I'm out there. I come practice every once in a while, and I'll yell at kids and whatever they need me to do. But I just want to be out there. Like I feel I want to be out there with my son and watching him excel, and he knows his stuff, and he's the O coordinator, and he's dragging kids around, and it's just that proud feeling that the rest of these guys are going to have one day, Coach. But it's nothing like it.
Yeah, I mean, and then obviously this year just made it all more special. I've been around a long time and never won the region. I've won the district, but it's been shared and it's been that. But to win the region, to do something the school hadn't done in a long time. And for those guys to be right there with me, it was just, the icing on the cake. I mean, it was the best.
So
Yeah, that we there was a I was on a Legends podcast and we had to name one of the big stories of the, and I thought one of my favorite stories of the year, it was at the end of December, was I said the West Springfield story, and I said everything. I said you guys, the 45-year thing, the whether it was Booby, whether it was Scotty Lewis, there were so many good stories that came out of West Springfield this year. Lito's Pizza. Another Wes. How about that Wes? Who's doing all that stuff up there? And Wes is probably got our show on right now, and he's grinding and ordering helmets from other teams. And that was all about. It started off with him about West Springfield trying to get and then he kind of took it there and he kind of just blew it up. But Mason always talk about sense of community, and I've always felt it most with I've been here my whole life, but Nova's weird, right? It's a transient area. I always felt it most currently at Madison. When you're there, you feel that they all know each other. It feels like it's weird. And then I see a little bit in North Arlington, and I see it in Yorktown. But you don't see it everywhere. And but with you guys, with West Spring, and now you're telling me about all the coaches, not just you guys, but then former players and other guys that you coached along. I think that's really cool. West Springfield was a cool story this year.
Yeah, it felt great this year. When I first came in as an assistant in 2014, I could see the community in the school. It was something different about it, and I've coached at a lot of places, but the parent support is awesome. I go to parents and say, hey, our end zone camera broke last Friday, and then by next Tuesday we have another end zone camera sitting out there ready for us to go. They just they support any ways possible. The things that they had to do this year. 4 extra games. We normally get 1 or 2 extra games. We had 4 extra games this year, and the support never wavered one bit. It's just an amazing community to work in and to work for. So this was just, like I said, this was just a great year overall.
So I gotta ask you guys, was there a moment this year that you guys all looked at and let's, aside from winning the region, that's easy. That's easy. But what was the moment this year where you all just looked at each other and you're like, this is surreal. This is amazing. Like the father son's moment where you're like, this is wild.
I would say the South County game. I think there was so much pressure going into that South County game. And for obvious reasons, but it was also our first real test. We were banged up, and the Chantilly loss was such a bad taste in our mouth. The South County picture was such a bad taste in our mouth as a staff, and so winning that game, especially with the tear that they were on, that offense, Travion Campbell. We met his father, met him, great kid, but just like the tear that they were on, to beat them and hold them to, was it 20 points? I think that's when I said, okay, I think we have something here. And then that Braddock game, coming back and beating them again, another powerhouse. I would say that Braddock game for me, I was like, all right, let's make a run. We're going to have a target on our back. And really, I'm going to be honest with you, winning that Braddock game, we wanted the home field advantage, but we also said we need Braddock and South County to beat each other up. In the second round. We did not want to see either of them in the second round, and that's kind of been West Springfield's Achilles heel, playing Braddock or South County in the first or second round. And so that's really what it was about. Again, those are two heavyweights, and November football is different. Ty Jackson started running the ball 30 times a game in November, and that's a big boy. So we didn't want to see that until the absolute latest time we could.
You brought up Travion Campbell, and I thought it was really cool that Scott Lewis got a chance to play with him, and they look at a pretty good connection out there. They looked really good together. You got the game.
They've been throwing together, and that's the beauty about football. And what I tell these kids, and God's honest truth, the biggest difference between Fairfax County and Stafford. Some of my best friends went to other schools, and it starts immediately after your senior year because you start working with each other and you start, working out, going to the field. He has Travion now has a college level quarterback that he can always come home to and throw with. Scott Lewis has a college level receiver that he can always throw with, and obviously the All-Star game is where it starts, but I think that's a connection that, they don't know that they're probably going to be friends for a very long time, and this is just the start of something. But it starts so organically, through football. I think that encapsulates, that touchdown encapsulates what's about to happen for them.
Yeah. Really quick, just because I'm unfamiliar, I'm not sure. What do you guys coach specifically on the team? What is your positions on the team?
Wes.
I coach O-line and D-line.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I do receivers and safeties and whatever Coach Parker doesn't feel like doing.
So Darnell came to us from Fairfax as their previous office coordinator, and so I thought he had a lot of knowledge. And to be honest, when I was his age, I don't think I was ready to be a head coach. I think he probably is. I'm praying that all these jobs open up. He just keep ignoring. Luckily for me, his wife is expecting, so he probably can't make that leap just yet. But so he's also the assistant head coach for us. He handles everything. I mean, things that I, used to worry about and grunt over, I don't anymore. He takes care of recruiting. He takes care of his offensive meetings when the office coordinator is not there. He runs the scouting reports and he does a lot. I mean, so, and it was one of those things that he wants to get his feet wet and figure out how it is. Actually, he orders our gear and as coaches and stuff as well, which I got to calm him down a little bit on that. But, he takes care of everything for us. I want him to experience as much as possible. So, if he gets that opportunity, he'll be ready. And I think he will be.
Is that
great?
Is that something that both you guys aspire to? Do you guys both want to be head coaches? Are you guys looking? I mean, what do you guys want to do?
I asked my brother that for the first time ever about 2 weeks ago on the golf course. Go ahead, tell him what you said.
I really don't aspire to be a head coach. I think I like working my family too much. I'll be real.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I've done the gambit. So honestly, I've coached from Pop Warner to be a varsity head coach. I've done the whole thing. And the one thing I've always learned about being the head coach too is unfortunately you spend a lot less time coaching because there's so much more. There's so much more just kind of pulling you in every direction. I always say the pinnacle coaching spot I've always thought is coordinator. Coordinator is because you oversee his side of the ball.
Yeah.
You got a staff underneath you. You get to coach completely, and you don't have to worry about purchase orders and that teacher and this admin and everything else. So yeah, I always say the pinnacle of football coaching is in high school in particular is coordinator because you just get to coach football and you're responsible for a lot, but you're not responsible for the other things that unfortunately makes you lose your hair and not sleeping.
That's why a good staff is so important and quality assistants and God's honest truth. That's kind of what has stopped me from, really stepping out because, I've either got to fracture this staff in half or I've got to then put trust into people that, I've never worked with, and I think that's obviously there's great coaches out in the county, but you just don't know. And you live and die by your assistants. Again, he talks about, the grind and what it was like really not winning at Falls Church. I think one year he was in, I think 2007, he was expecting a pretty good team, had some seniors coming back and some seniors paintball at the school. And then his whole defensive staff left. And then, next thing you know, you're 1-9 and it's like that. And again, it's you need committed adults, on both sides of the ball, people in the building, again, that's where that admin comes into play, I just don't, it's impossible. I do not envy the coaches who don't have the luxury of having other coaches in the building. Just makes things tough.
Well, actually, so kind of staying on that, Coach Park, you've been doing this a long time. And as I've been coached for a long time now, and building a staff is really hard. How do you cultivate that? Like, how do you personally cultivate? Because building a quality staff is so important, right? I mean, if you constantly have a constant turnover and brand new coaches, it makes it really difficult. Like, what do you do to try to cultivate a staff to make sure that you have a staff that's ready to go and kind of to meet the expectations that you have?
I think I start with I just try to find good people. I feel like if you're a good person and you care about kids, you're going to be a good coach eventually. I can teach you the X and O's or what I want you to do and that kind of stuff. And I think one of the things I do is I try to give the coaches autonomy. If you say DBs, then you're going to coach the DBs and you're going to do the DBs. Wow, I want you to learn other things and try to help you with that. But I'm going to let you use your expertise of what you think you can do. So every coach that I've ever had on my staff has coordinated one level of my football team. They've been a freshman offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. They've been a JV freshman offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. They've been a special teams coach. They've had their part in seeing how it feels, what it's going to be like on Friday nights. And like Darnell said earlier, my offensive coordinator is not there. I got 2 or 3 other coaches that can do what that guy's doing as well. Maybe they don't have the same philosophy of how they'll go about it, but we'll have a good game plan together. We'll pretty much run the same script of plays that we've talked about we're going to be doing. So I think once you find just good people, finding a good staff is pretty simple, and I'm not one of those guys. I'm not a taskmaster and a workaholic. I don't think you need to be there on a Saturday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. I mean, some people believe that. I don't believe that. I've never believed that. Up until, I got to West Springfield, maybe I thought I was doing it wrong, but since being at West Springfield, never having a losing season, and I'm still doing it the same way I did it when I was at Falls Church in Edison, and nothing has changed, and I think the guys appreciate that. You guys have families, and we respect their time and respect what they do, and so they want to stay around. So like Darnell said earlier, some of those guys been with me, 15 years, 16 years. Even when I was an assistant, when I came to West Springfield, those guys came with me. So they wanted to be around as well. So I think that helps. You just find good people, and they want to be around you, and you're gonna want to be around them, and I think that makes it work.
Well, I think that's a testament to you. I mean, just the fact that you have people follow you, because I've coached for guys that have been like, man, I can't wait to get away from this guy just because of kind of toxicity of the staff or just kind of the way things are. So I mean, I think that's a testament to you to have guys follow you around, because there are coaches who are, I won't name names, but if you look on the website, they are looking for brand new coaches every year. Every year they're trying to find brand new coaches. So I think that's a testament to you, and also just kind of philosophy of finding good people. So I'll just kind of 1 year. So back when I was in New Mexico, the varsity coach was responsible not just for the high school but for the middle school. He ran to run the whole program, and so the track coach at the time was trying to find a middle school track coach, and in joking, I said, he was a teacher at the high school, and I was like, oh, I'll be your head coach. And he was like, will you do it? And I was like, dude, I don't know anything about track. He was like, one, I know you can coach. If I know you can coach one thing, I can teach you the other things. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you're a responsible adult who's coached kids, and kind of like you said, I can teach you the X and O's. I can't teach you how to be a good person, and I can't teach you how to convey information to a kid. But if I know you can do that, then I can do that. And so from that time on, I was like, okay, so and as I went trying to fire the staff, I was like, if I can find a person who's a solid person and I know can coach, I can teach you the other things. I can teach you the drill, and I can teach you what to look for, and you'll know what to do that. So I think that's a fantastic philosophy that you have.
Yeah,
I agree, especially the having the different coaches always coaching, whether it's freshman play call or freshman defense, JV,
Yeah.
Because you see that. You see situations where guys can't be there. There's a catastrophe. There's something going on.
Right.
And all of a sudden people are like, who's calling it? Who's gonna call it? Yeah. That stuff happens. So I think that's a smart approach. Like you said, maybe they're not going to be as well versed as the main guy.
Right.
But they can piece it together as a group, collective. You guys say, okay, this is what we kind of know he wants to do. Let's do this.
Yeah. I think when Darnell talked about the 2017 I had, I think that was my philosophy. He was right. I think we lost 6 kids through the little paintball incident. We had 3 kids that moved, and I think we had another kid transfer out for some other reason. And all those kids played both ways. So I really lost like 15 starters in one summer. And then I lost my entire defensive staff. So I had to go to do the defensive side of the ball. So, I just felt like it's important that all those guys know everything. I mean, for the longest time, obviously, before huddle, we all met together. We just met as one staff, and we put on the offensive side of the film, and we put on the defensive side of the film. And I think I did it because I wanted the offensive coaches to talk what their game plan was, and the defense coach to hear is like, no, I wouldn't do that because I would do this to stop that. And we did the same thing when it came to the defensive coaches. So we met together. We tried to figure out what was best, for the team, and then we would break up into our individual groups. Then, so like I said, just having guys that's well rounded, and I think that's when Darnell came this year. He's like, I want to work on defense because I want to know defense as well. So he took over the safeties for our defensive coordinator, who just did the corners this year, and he called the JV defense. I don't think he ever called defense before this year. So that's kind of the what I think is important. You want guys to be, just like I said, be well rounded, be able to go into any role if they need to. Because I feel like I had to do that, and throughout my years of head coach, I think I've coached every position except D-line. I don't think I've ever did D-line, but I did linebackers, I did DBs, I did O-line, I did running backs, So you just gotta, get those guys that can do a lot, and then and make it fun. I mean, I think we have more fun at practice than anybody. I mean, we're laughing, we're having a good time. The kids are having a good time. They know we mean business. We get stuff done, but at the time, we'll crack a joke or two. So,
Awesome.
Are you surprised by? Because you mentioned earlier, like when you were looking for your first gig coming out of North Carolina, and it was hard to find a coaching job. It's changed, right? Like now,
definitely.
It's hard to find a good coach. There's a million ads out there, and it's completely 180, right?
Yeah. Oh, totally different. I mean, I think back then, people had their cliques, and they say, "Hey, these are the coaches I know. I don't really know you. Where you coming from?" It was that kind of stuff. So, I actually got on at TC because the year I started as a teacher, we had a brand new superintendent, and we're in the same new employee meeting, and he asked me, what did I do? And I say, I coach football. And he's like, you should go talk to the football coach. And I said, all right, I'll go talk to him. And that's kind of how I got on at TC Williams. So it's definitely different now. Now you see ads in the thing every week. Hey, I need this coach, I need that coach. And like you said, I've been fortunate that I didn't have to put that ad out every week. I mean, every year or every month or whatever. It's a little different this year. I mean, not this year with my boys coaching. The rule says I have to open up their job every year. Every year they have to interview. So I do have to put it out. So if you see something out there, it's because I have to put their job out every year.
Oh, I didn't. So this was part of the rule when they allowed family members. They added that caveat in there. I didn't know that.
So they've interviewed twice already, and they got to interview again this spring.
Wow, that's wild. I didn't know they. I mean, come on, give me a break.
So do you do the interrogation? Do you bring in the one single lamp and shine their face?
Actually, I'm not even in it. It's the interview with the DSA.
Oh, really? I was gonna say you could have some fun with it. You could have fun with it if you were doing it. All right, guys, come on in here.
Yeah.
Oh man, they make it that formal.
Yeah.
You're kidding. That's
I learned something new. I didn't know that. Wow, that's wild.
That's insane.
I know a lot of coaches are hesitant to, and you guys know this, to put and I don't feel this way. I would have no problem putting the ad out, but some coaches don't like putting the ad out. They're like, I'm not putting the ad out. I'll find a coach. It's almost like a mark of shame if you got to put the ad out.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way, but I know some coaches do feel that way.
Yeah, the only year I ever did it was the 2007 year when Darnell talked about me losing my whole defensive staff. Right. I had to put it out because it all happened in the spring. So I was like, I need coaches by August. It's June, So I put it out. I found a couple of guys that I knew. I got a guy from the school, But other than that, I've been fortunate. I think I've had the same staff my 8 years at Falls Church, other than maybe 3 coaches.
Wow.
When I got to Edison, I had the same staff, other than 2 coaches. And since at West Springfield, I think I've had 2 coaches to leave.
Wow. And it's funny, the one that I feel like, just talking to a bunch of coaches, I feel like you want coaches to apply if you put out the ad. Offensive coordinator. Everyone's an offensive coordinator.
Everybody's a quarterback coach. Everybody's a
quarterback coach. Right? Oh, everyone loves being a quarterback coach. It's funny. Defensive coordinator, not even. That's harder to find nowadays.
Yeah.
People are like, no, I'm an offensive coordinator. It's like, no, you're neither one.
Well, that's what I was like. That's the interesting part. Like he said, like at Fairfax, like we won a region. We went to 2 regions, and I was calling the plays. And then I came here, and because I've known the offensive coordinator for so long, and obviously they have a great relationship. I respect what he knows. He knows, a ton of ball, and I didn't have an issue. But also at the same time, like you said, like I'm now my brain, I'm ready to be a head coach and I'm ready to soak up that, and not to say that coordinator's beneath, but it's like I'm ready to think big picture, whole program, and that's part of the reason why I chose to go call the JV defense. I want to get that experience, being you never want to be uh held, by your coordinator. You're an offensive head coach and your defensive guy is doing what he does and he might be doing something wrong and you don't know that he's doing something wrong and you can't correct it. You never want to be confined to that. And I think that's, you know, what I've learned from him, watching him coach all these different sides of the ball. We go to a clinic and we're sitting in a linebacker, blitz meeting and, then we'll go to a O-line double team meeting and then, we'll go to a weight room session, just trying to, continue to be a sponge and learn everything. But I
I
think
love hearing that.
a lot of coaches don't want that. They want to come in and I'm a coordinator. I played receiver at CNU for 3 years, and I was all ODAC, and so I'm a coordinator. I know CNU isn't even an ODAC. I'm sorry, Wes, I disrespected the ODAC, um, the coaches just aren't willing to grind. I think that's really what I learned. I grabbed from Coach Taylor. Me and my brother grabbed from Coach Taylor, and I think my father grabbed from Coach Pannoni. You have to be a grind. I think you do have to be a grinder. Then again, the hours, it doesn't have to be, 18 hours a day, but you have to be willing to, move equipment in the equipment room all day. You have to be willing to pass out jerseys. You have to be willing to, open up the shed. Like you have to be willing to do whatever is required in that moment. And that's exactly what we preach our kids. You have to be a good teammate. You have to be selfless, and it's hard to preach that, and you got coaches who don't do that or aren't willing to do that.
Yeah, I think kind of piggyback off a few things. One, I found now, and again, when you start getting old, I find a lot of young coaches don't want to pay dues a lot of times. Like they're not willing to learn how to do these things. And kind of going back on what you were saying from there is that when you do that, you kind of learn how to do all those things. West coach and O-line, I'll tell you right now, O-line coaches are worth their weight in gold because nobody wants to do that job. You put an ad out, you beg for an O-line coach. So one, that's awesome you're doing that. And two, and kind of what both you two are doing, when you become a head coach, you've got to be able to put your finger in the dike and plug things up. So, there were years where my O-line coach was not doing a good job. So I had to walk away from a position to go down there and fix that, right? If you're the head coach and something's going on with the defense, you can't be like, well, the defensive coordinator sucks. No,
Yeah.
because, we coach for a head coach, and I've said it before, Coach Parker's name is on the marquee. And no one's going to say, hey, the defensive coordinator sucks, but Coach Parker's great. No, they're going to say Coach Parker sucks because, that's what's wrong with it. So because of that, you have to be able to go and fix those things that are going wrong. You may have to leave a position being like, I got to leave the quarterbacks with somebody else because the O-line can't block anybody. So I got to move around and do that. So, I think, you learn how to do that with Coach Taylor and with your father. And like I said, Wes, you learn how to coach O-line, you'll never not have a job. If you go somewhere and say, I coach O-line, you are the first person that they will hire because, we've talked about before, they're the two most important people on the staff, the O-line coach, the freshman head coach. Those are those people are your most valuable people, right? Because your freshman head coach ensures that your freshmen don't quit, and then you come back. And your O-line coach, because finding that guy is a really difficult thing to do, and it's a good thing that your dad had a son who wanted to do it, so that way he kept him around.
I would argue that that's been the biggest. Those two coaches are the biggest kind of reason that we're in the position that we are. Coach Draper, our freshman coach, he does a phenomenal job with our freshmen. I think.
Is it the cowboy hat?
No, that's Coach Art.
Okay, so we played you guys. Mason wasn't there for that game, and I was like, we got our asses kicked. And I'm looking over there. I'm like, who's calling the plays with that? The cowboy hat. I was like, I got to go over there and say something after the game. I told you, I saw you guys afterwards. Yeah, that was a good game. You guys look good. I like your freshman group a lot.
Our freshman coach, he's also our main weight room guy. I think he was a lieutenant colonel. Very high ranking military guy, just got out, but had a son that graduated from West Springfield in 2022, 2021, something like that. And he took our freshman program over from Coach Eccles, and he kind of started the foundation. And between those two, The turnover that we have has been amazing. You know, the emphasis, like the freshman guys lifting is a part of their practice schedule, you know, during the week. And, you know, now you walk into the weight room and, you know, those freshman kids, they want to lift, you know, and, you know, they stick around. And so, and then you just crediting Coach West, our run game this year and our O-line, I think, you know, West Springfield has always been known for airing it out and being flashy and all our quarterbacks and, you know, but coming from, you know, Coach Mangano, Coach Taylor, you know, and we know the emphasizing of running the football. It's funny, I remember Coach West telling me in high school, or I think he was in college, that he wanted to be an O-line guy. He was playing tight end, but he was like, no, I love O-line. You know, I love so this is something he's always wanted to do. This wasn't like you're the youngest brother, go coach O-line. He's always wanted to do this.
I could see it with the line. I mean, the freshman group was a big line. They've been lifting weights for years. Mesa didn't go to the game, and I'm texting Mesa, and I'm like, "Thanks, you jerk." I was like, "This is the game. Yeah, you're not going to pay." Mesa was our DC, and I was like, "Now I'm calling the D. I'm the guy that's calling the D, the guy who doesn't know what's going on, but I'm sorry, Mesa. We're just sending everybody every play." And as freshmen, we can get away with that. I got to say though, that the work ethic that what I just said, I mean, a few minutes ago, I see so many egos. There's so many egos out there, and I'll tell you what, there's a lot of OCs, right? Guys who've been coordinators on, you know, Fairfax and region championship winning team, right? State semi team, and who is like, yeah, I'm not calling the defense on the JV team. That's beneath.
Right.
You see that so much. So it says a lot about you guys and the work ethic that you guys are doing. And then that's why, look, it's not a coincidence with the success you guys are having.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Fellas,
Well, he got to do it again now
guys.
because the JV team was undefeated. So West did the offense and Darnell did the defense. So they might
West
keep that job
Springfield
another year.
And your freshman team too. I mean, what was it? 1, 2 loss? It could have been more than
Freshman
two
team lost one. Yeah, freshman team
lost that Madison game.
34-31, I think. Yeah.
Right. So you got good things coming. Don't worry. I put it on. We were talking about teams to look out for. We already got our teams to look out for next year. You guys are up there. We'll just say that. You guys are up there. You got Kyle Lewis. We'll be talking about him a lot next year probably. You got the next Lewis up. But guys, thanks for joining us tonight, man. This was fun.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having
us.
We've been talking about doing this for a long time, and it's cool. Is there any offhand? Do you guys know any like families like this that do it in Nova? Like this many, like three members of the family? You might have one somewhere.
Well, I
mean, other than Pannoni and Pannoni's son-in-law, that was the only.
You're right. And Donaldson.
Not a lot, yeah. You know, I think it's just, you know, when the county wasn't letting us do it, a lot of people just they just kind of got away from each other. I think Vaughn Lewis started helping Chad Lewis over at Edison again. Like that come back, but you know, I don't think it's a lot just because we couldn't do it for so long. So,
well, I like it. It's a unique thing, and it's working, guys, and I love it. It's fun. It's fun to watch.
Next year Darnell's going to have the baby Bjorn on and going to have his baby on his front while he's out there coaching.
You're going to have a fourth member of the staff, and then you got to bring the baby into the DSA.
Nah, she'll be on the golf path. Most unused college scholarship. She'll be on the golf path.
That's great, guys. Stick around for a minute before we go here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for joining us, guys. We hope to have you guys again next few months after 7-on-7s get going, maybe before the season starts.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Sure. All right, guys. Well, take care. We'll see you soon.
All right.
All right. Well, we're back, and phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I loved hearing about their stories. I mean, who knew about Coach Parker, right? And his connections to Coach Pannoni, to Coach Taylor. I mean, I didn't know
what
that.
A treat.
Yeah.
What a treat. Was it Lewis?
Was it Lewis?
When they had all those guys on staff. It was Lee back then, but Lewis.
Lee. Yeah.
When they had all those guys on staff, that staff is like the old is the Green Bay Packers staff when they had Andy Reid and Gruden and all those guys.
Mariucci, Gruden,
right. Holmgren.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and hard workers.
Yeah.
Just grinding.
And just really impressive, all three of them. I mean, and now you can kind of see, and I'd imagine those two guys will be head coaches pretty soon anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, and obviously Darnell, the older brother, he's ready to go now. I mean,
yeah,
he heard it. It's just a matter of where and all that kind of stuff,
right,
and it's got to be the right fit.
right,
And they're looking out for each other too. He's like, I'm not gonna if I bail, who are my coaches gonna be? Because we're all
right.
here.
Yeah,
And I love that network, man. They have that crew that they've been together. A lot of the coaches on staff have been together for a long time. Um, West Springfield's going to be a problem for a long time, Mason.
yeah. And also the way he organized staff, where everybody's kind of got a responsibility,
Yep.
gets a chance to kind of call plays and do the thing, which I think is really smart on his end.
You got a guy like Parker Darnell. I say Parker, they're all three Parkers.
Yeah,
You got a guy Darnell who was calling the offense of a state semifinalist just 2 or 3 years ago with the Rojas teams, right?
yeah.
And he comes over there and no ego. And he said, no, you already got one. I'm good. Let
Call
me
the
just help
JV
out.
offense.
Right. And I'll do you one better, right? I'll take the JV defense.
Yeah, okay, JV defense. Yeah,
I want to learn something and coach the defensive side of the ball, even though I'm an offensive guy.
yeah. No, and it's smart on his end. So that
It's
way,
smart on his end. It's no ego.
when he becomes a head coach, he can do either side of the ball, which I think is really important, especially when you're a young head coach to be able
Right.
to focus on the side of the ball. So you kind of put your stamp on it.
Yeah, and I'm not kidding. I mean, and I said it, but I'll say it again. There are a lot of people out there that, hey, go coach JV. I'm not coaching the JV team.
Yeah,
I'm going to go sit back there on the bench and make jokes
yeah,
while the two guys who are working their butts off coaching the JV team do that.
yeah,
I'm too good for that.
yeah,
Not those guys.
yeah. No.
And they come from guys like you said, Trey and Jerry. I mean,
Yeah.
Trey would coach all three levels.
Yeah,
Fairfax.
yeah,
I mean, look, you want to win, you got to put in the work. Some of these guys, some people, they want to. Everybody wants to win, but how hard you willing to work for it,
right, right,
right?
right.
I mean, are you willing to go in the barn in the snow, right?
Yeah.
Like Rocky was, like the Parkers are. I mean, that's what I'm saying. To bring it back full circle to the original conversation. I mean, look, they are putting in the work, my friend.
Yeah. No,
And without egos. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, no, I mean, those guys are going to be forces for that Parker name is going to be a force to deal with in this area for a long time.
And we know that they got some young talent on that team, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. Am I the
You
best?
get another
right?
year of Wickham. Hey, good luck. Hey, good luck, all the DCs out there. You got
Yeah.
another year of Wickham.
Yeah,
And it sounds like he's going to be playing a lot more defense next year. Good luck, OCs.
yeah, yeah. I mean, why not, right? Your best players have got to be on the field as much as possible, right?
But hell, not everyone thinks so, buddy.
Yeah,
No, I mean, you got to. Not everyone agrees. We know a lot of programs that don't do that.
yeah,
And you and I sit back and always go, why aren't they doing it? Why aren't they doing it? Why? You got your studs. You got to let them go, man.
yeah. Absolutely.
All right, buddy. Fun stuff. And we got a big event next week.
Hopefully,
We hope to attend. Yeah, I mean, it was supposed to be this past weekend and it got canceled because of the weather. But I know Carl and the Adam Schefter of Nova is getting ready to do something at the I think the Michael and Sons complex.
what is Michael and Sons? Is it a
Michael and Sons.
yeah? What do they do? I know the jingle.
You know the jingle. Look, if you know the jingle, what's the one jingle that you really know, like your whole life? If someone said, "Name me one jingle," go. I just.
Well, I
read this-
mean, a lot of them are Southern California based.
Oh, you would go local.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously national ones, but because you said Michael Sons, all of a sudden I think about other ones. Now,
So
oddly enough,
Wilkie said, "I'll give you a little help here." Wilkie
Yeah.
said, well, he didn't go really. It wasn't really a jingle, but like I guess the slogan. He went, "Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat."
all right, let's go run this San Francisco street
So if you had to go slogan or jingle, what would you do?
slogan.
By Menon.
Bye, Menon. Now I'm on the spot. Now I can't think of anything.
You can't think of one,
I mean,
really?
I can think of them, but like I got a bunch going through my mind right now.
The quicker picker upper.
The quicker picker upper.
How about betcha bite a chip? Huh?
Where's the beef? Time to
Where's
make
the
the donuts.
beef?
Time to make the donuts.
Time to make the dough. Now
Time
you're
to make the
talking.
donuts.
I got your mind out of that crazy zone you're in there. Yeah, some good ones, man.
So, but when I was here, the jingle stuck in my head because when I got here 2020, we ended up getting COVID. So
Michael and Sons.
no, it was fhfur.com
Oh, yeah.
all the time.
Well, if you would have grown up in the 80s here,
Dashes.
you would have heard dashes, 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 dashes. That was the thing, man. I told Warren that the other day. Warren calls his wife, and he's like, "You remember the dashes, dashes, dashes?" He's like, "I work with the sun." It used to mean something around these parts.
Doesn't McNabb call you up at night when he's had a few and leaves that message on your
He has dashes, dashes, dashes.
I don't know what you're gonna do with this right now because we've gone off the rails.
We jumped the shark. Hendo said he got his prom suit at Dashes, his senior year, at the Tyson's location.
Yeah. Did you have fresh threads growing up? Were you always like decked out? Did you?
I mean, I wore regular. I'm not gonna wear. What am I gonna wear? A three-piece suit to
I don't know, man.
third
Maybe
grade.
walked around with your Gordon Gartrell.
Just wore regular clothes.
I've always worn that T-shirt. My other shirt's a Gordon Gartrell.
Good call. Look at that. Good memory. We learn the facts of life from watching the facts of life.
Yeah.
Well, buddy. So like that, we're getting back on track. We got the prep red zone event, and hopefully some of these jobs we can start talking about some of these.
Yeah.
You know, we got a couple of them already with Coach Worsham and Coach Copeland.
And hopefully we get them on the show. And
Yeah, we already sent a couple of emails out.
Yeah.
And we'll be sending some more out obviously soon. So things just cooking, buddy. And we got Super Bowl's coming up. So everything's kind of coming to a crescendo here.
Yeah. What a game this weekend, huh?
Whew. Man.
Could you believe that happened?
No.
That was wild.
Well, yeah. I mean, the championship games are always great.
Yeah.
These championship games are always great.
Well, that one play, I couldn't believe it.
Man. Yeah. Well, buddy, I hope I don't see you for a week.
Yeah,
Let's do that. Are we pick your day right now? This obviously comes out on Sunday. When do students go back to school this week? Let's ask you that.
I'm going to say we'll come back on Tuesday.
You think kids and teachers come back on Tuesday?
They'll come back on Tuesday.
Wow. Now I say staff comes back on Thursday. That's a teacher work day, no kids. So kids are done for the week. Staff, Thursday's a non-kid day. And the higher ups are going to say, we don't care about the staff. Come on in.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see who's right. We'll bet a donut.
There you go.
All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the interview today. And from Dash and Dan, we'll see you guys next time on All Hitches.
See ya.